Man, know thyself, for an unexamined life is not worth living. These are the words of the great philosopher Socrates. Ladies and gentlemen, you're most welcome to this very first edition of this webinar of its kind, Distinguished Speakers Series, here under the auspices of the Afro's Skills. I want to welcome you for respecting this appointment with Afro Skills today. And it's very, very much important as we are here to talk about something that will touch everybody. And we are looking at how we can transform ourselves, transform our lives through self-exploration. And we are honored, of course, this day to be joined by Professor Jagdish Khatri. He's joining us right away from India to share his experiences, of course, talking about this, of course, his book with the title Transformation of Life Through Self-Exploration. What do we have to learn from this? And of course, we are going to discover as we ride on with this session of the webinar, Distinguished Speakers Series. Of course, I will take this opportunity to introduce to you Professor Jagdish Khatri. He is a management guru who doubles as an author and, of course, a global analyst. Hello to you, Professor Jagdish, and it's a pleasure having you this year on a Distinguished Speakers Series under the auspices of Afro Skills.
Thank you very much, Claire's madam, for this invitation. I'm privileged to be here on this platform.
It's Indeed, Professor. It's a pleasure to have you just there. Just to remind our guests or participants that this is a program that also gives an opportunity for us all to direct all our questions, all our words to distinguished speaker or guest this year. Of course, we are centered on how we can transform our lives through self-exploration. And before getting to Professor Jagdish to actually enlighten us about this book and, of course, the story of self-discovery, let us remind ourselves that Afro Skills is all about transforming Africa with knowledge. Afro Skills is all about advancing knowledge and skills strategy across Africa. It's all about training and development. It's all about bringing together stakeholders that can be very useful in its quest to build skills development in Africa. The quest to see that the continent Africa takes its exact position has been on a hike. And of course, we are here to see how we can make use of that valuable resource. And of course, we are talking about the human resource. We're talking about the human capital. How can we valorize the human capital and how can we make them know their potentials? And that is why on this edition, first edition of Distinguished Speakers Series on Afro Skills, we want to see how we can use our innate potentials to transform our lives, to take advantage of the aspect of globalization, and you can name the rest. So we have three sessions. Of course, we are starting with a great presentation now from Professor Jagdish, which will enlighten us about the content of this book on the transformation of life through self-exploration. And of course, we also have a breakout session. It gives us the opportunity, participants, to actually give our viewpoints, or actually direct some pertinent questions to the guest speaker for more clarification. And after that, we are going to go detailedly into the question and answer session of this. So you are most welcome, and we thank you for your time. I'm coming back to you, Professor Jagdija. You now have the opportunity to give us a summary of this book, and of course, why you choose to talk about transformation of life through self-discovery, how important it is to know who you are, and of course, to see how you can utilize these abilities for the total transformation, especially as the world is taking another dimension. Thank you so much, Professor Jagdish Khatri.
Thank you, Clarice, madam, and my greetings to you and all the participants. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to be on this platform of Afro Skills. I compliment you that Afro Skills is doing a great job in upskilling the African youth. I have always believed that Africa is the land of opportunity, untapped potential, and that is how if we have got a lot of material resources in Africa, but if we develop our human resources also with competence and confidence, they can be a great resource for the whole humanity also. So I feel the topic of is transformation of life. What do we mean by transformation? Transformation is going away from the beaten track and radically changing the path of your life with proper consideration, so that you are able to utilize your own talents in the best way possible. So that is what is transformation. So transformation of life, and for that I see that we want to transform the whole world. We want to transform our continent. We want to transform our nation, our society, but we must start with transforming of self, of individuals. And if every individual has built up capacity to transform his or her life, then they can enrich the whole nation also. So I would like to share a screen. I'm sure you must have made me co-host. Is it visible?
Yeah, it is very visible, sir.
Yeah, that's great. So thank you, Afro Skills, the Africa Knowledge Hub.
Indeed.
Long back, the great philosopher Aristotle had said that knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. And you see, what we see is that we learn so many things in our education. We teach so many things to our students, but we do not have any subject that deals with self-management or self-understanding or self-exploration or self-discovery. So that is why this is the need of the hour, that we should try to explore ourselves. Now, ladies and gentlemen, have you ever thought why every child that comes to earth looks different? Why we are able to recognize each and every person just by seeing at him or her. Why God chooses to create every child differently? You may say there are twins who look alike. They may look alike in their features, in their face, but are they same in their habits, in their hobbies, in their thoughts, in their likes and dislikes? No. So even the fingerprints are different for the twins also. So why God has to create so many billions and billions of dyes, different dyes, so that each and every child looks different? Why so? It is because God creates every child differently, because God wants every person to be unique. This is the wish of God, that every person He is sending to this planet is unique person, and it is the duty of every person to explore that uniqueness in him or her and utilize that uniqueness. This is the basis of my recent book. This is the cover of the book, Who Am I? A Guide to Discover Your True Self. Self, I will explain a little later, SELF. Now, just to tell something about this book, the basic premise of this book is, as I said, every person is born unique with a purpose and with some special gifts to be presented to the world. Now, it is the spiritual duty of everyone to explore, to develop, and to utilize this uniqueness for the benefit of self, for the benefit of family, society, and the whole humanity. Are we doing that? And that is what I wanted to discuss today and present through this book. Now, before I go further, let me just say that the first version of this book was uh, printed 3 years back as Discover Yourself, a guide to grow as an empowered person. This book was printed in Latvia and marketed in Germany. And then I am proud to inform that the book has been translated into 8 European languages: French, German, Spanish, Italian, Portuguese, Dutch, Polish, Bulgarian. The content was found to be of use to everyone. So this is now available in so many languages. And this is the collage of the cover page in these 9 languages, including English. Now, the same book I have presented as Who Am I?
Very important question indeed. Who am I?
Now, in this book, I have presented a new concept of SELF, self, that is self-empowered life framework. That is a framework that we design ourselves based on our own unique qualities and mission. Now, unless we know our unique qualities and mission, how we can formulate this framework? So that is why self-analysis, self-awareness, and self-exploration is must. And for this framework, I have designed like this. There are 6 steps, and each step is important to go to the higher step. We start with self-awareness, to know who we are, then self-exploration, going deep into our own self, then analyzing what we are, what are our strengths, what are our weakness, and then formulating a plan for self-development based on this analysis, and then uh, empowering ourselves with the new skills and the habits and hobbies, and then reaching the ultimate aim of self-esteem. Self-esteem is the value that we have in our own eyes for ourselves. And this should be the ultimate aim of each and every individual, to have, to gain higher and higher self-esteem in life. Now, coming to the subject of self-exploration, there's a quote that by learning to explore yourself, you will naturally become the best version of yourself.
Indeed.
Each and every day, we are a new person. And if we really explore ourselves properly and develop, then we can become better and better every day, reaching to be the best version of ourselves. Now, how to do it? There are three elements of the first step, that is self-awareness. And I would like participants to please pay attention to these elements. These are three are this self-concept, self-ideal, and self-image. Self-concept is, who am I? What do I think I am as on today? This will be covering everything I know about myself, I feel about myself, everything that I have achieved so far, and this will be based on my own assessment of myself, as well as the feedback that I receive from people who are in touch with me about myself. A combination of both, this will be self-concept. And I request all the participants and everybody, whether young or old, this is must, that we take a diary and pen and start writing answer to this question, who am I? Write as much as possible, as much as you know about yourself, and be honest about it, so that every time you add something, you add it to self-concept also. And then go on revising, because every year you will be different person. Then the second is self-ideal. What do I want to become? What I wish to be? What are my goals? What is my vision about my own self? Where do I want to see myself? Have we outlined that? It is not only about career, about relationships, about assets, about financial, about humanitarian work that we do, or our hobbies. Whatever we want to be, we should write down, what is my self-ideal? I am here, I am this, and this is what I want to be. Now, the third one is, element is self-image. How do I want to be remembered by others? What people should talk about me? How they should remember me once I leave the place, once I leave a meeting, once I leave an organization, or once I leave a community, or once I leave a city, or once I leave even this world. What image do I want to carry in the minds of people? Obviously, we all want to have to generate a very positive image, good image in the minds of everybody. So what are we doing for that? Now, these three elements, if we are able to think over it deeply and write it down, this will be the first step of self-exploration, that you become totally aware of yourself. Okay. Now, see how these three elements correlate with each other. See, suppose this is what I think I am, this is self-concept, and this is self-ideal, what I want to be. Now, naturally, this will be more than what I am today. And what image I want in public, self-image. Maybe this will also be a little bit more than what it is I am today. Now, you see that what I am today is self-concept and what I want to be. So this is the gap which I have to still cover. And so that I know how much more effort I need to do, what more skills I want to add, what more education should I have, or what more habits should I develop, so that I become this from this. So this, by doing this, we identify the gap that is still to be covered. And this is self-image that I want. Now, if you see, this is the gap between, sorry, between what is the reality and what is the image desired. This is the image desired and this is the reality today. So this is the gap that I have to fulfill to have what I want as self-image. So if we are able to do this exercise, then we will be knowing ourselves in much better way. And then only we can plan our next steps. Now, for a balanced personality, your self-concept that you write should be as honest as possible. Your self-ideal should be as realistic as possible, as feasible. And your self-image should be as authentic as desirable. So that the gaps are minimum and the gaps are, you are able to fulfill the gaps. Now, these were the three elements for a balanced personality and for understanding our own self. Now, I would talk about some 4 components of self. Once you try to describe yourself, there are 4 components. We are not just this body. There are 4 main components: physical component, intellectual component, our emotional component, and our spiritual component. I would explain it in a little more detail in a graphic. You see, there are 4 components of self: physical, intellectual, emotional, and spiritual. The physical one we represent through body as we look, and this body is used for our actions. That is our doing part, what we are doing. Then the intellectual component of ourself reflects our mind, our thoughts, and then linked to our thinking process. This is doing, this is thinking. The third one is emotional component, representing our heart. What do we feel? Representing our emotions. And do we have emotional control? Then This is the feeling part. So doing, thinking, feeling, and the most important one is the spiritual component, the soul, the spirit that is reflected through our character and what we are, the being. We call ourselves as human being. This is most important, that we are human being. We are not human doing. We are not human thinking. We are not human feeling. We are actually human being. But do we really consider all these four aspects while defining ourselves or while making judgment about a person? Now, somebody may look very good physically, he may be look healthy, he may be strong, but he may not be as intellectual as he's supposed to be. Somebody may be physically good, somebody may have lot of degrees and quite good education, very sharp, but he may not be able to maintain relations, social relations. He may not be a social person, and he may not have emotional intelligence. So that will be lacking. And if all three are also good, is he having a good character? Is he following values and ethics? Can he be trusted? Is he trustworthy? So we need to, if we want to develop ourselves, we have to develop each and every component of ourselves. So first, once we are exploring ourselves, can we just write at least one line or two lines each about these four components that we have? What is the quality of our thoughts? What is the purity level of our thoughts? Are these thoughts positive or negative? Am I having emotional control? Do I get too angry? Am I trustworthy? What are my actions? Am I able to perform well? So this, by the elements of self-concept, self-ideal, and self-image, and by understanding these four components of self, we can define ourselves. Please use this not to judge others, but first to judge yourself, so that you decide where you are and how much gap you have to still cover to become a better version of yourself. I hope I'm making sense to everybody. Now, I have
Yes,
tried
yes.
to define, yeah, these physical components you can define by the health, strength, energy level, even the dress sense that the person has, the confidence level that is appearing, his or her body language. So it's not only features or healthy body, all these are part of your PQ, that is physical component. Then intellectual component, we generally talk it as IQ, and we take it only as an parameter to define educational success. But this is comprising of our thoughts, our opinions, ideas, our qualifications, our mental faculties, even what are our scores, the language skills that we have, learning power. Are we able to learn fast? Do we want to learn more? What is our memory power? Our general knowledge and general awareness? Do we have multi skills? Do we have problem solving ability? I mean, there may be so many things that are there, and they define ourselves. The third component, EQ, this is denoted by the level and quality of relationships that we have within family, with friends, with society, with our employer, with our colleagues, with strangers, the kind of feelings that we generally generate, Do we have compassion or not? Do we have empathy with others? Do we feel same as others? What is the level of maturity I have possessed? How do I behave with others? Do I have control over my emotions? Am I a good team player with team spirit? Do I have an ability to connect with people? Do I like meeting people? Am I a social person or am I a loner? And then the fourth, spiritual component, denoted by our ethical behavior, uh, honesty, strength of our character, the self control we have, our religious outlook, practices, credibility that we have generated so far, our trustworthiness, loyalty to people, to organization, to country, the faith we have in self and in our religion. Do we follow social norms and ethics? The prayers that we have do, the kind of integrity level that we have. I mean, if you go on deep, there may be so many other things. I have just put some of them. But each and every person knows him or her the best. He can take help of his parents, friends to understand more about himself. But ultimately, he has to do this analysis, explore the self for all three elements and for all four components. It is said that when we strive to become better than what we are, everything around us becomes better too. Are we ready for that? And our ultimate reward of a transformed life is self esteem. That is the value we place on ourselves, our own assessment of our worth as a capable, likable human being, the capacity to define who you are, making a judgment of yourself, and then deciding the extent to which you like yourself. Even if people may appreciate us, even if they may uh, clap for us, but in the heart of heart, do we like ourselves as much? We only know. So let us try to be doing such things, acquiring such hobbies and habits that we have gain higher self-esteem. That should be our aim. And that is how we can transform ourselves on a daily basis. I believe that when you want something with intensity, all the universe conspires in helping you to achieve it. This is the main dialogue, main principle advocated in the book, famous book, The Alchemist. I hope many of you must have read it by Paulo Coelho. When you want something badly, the whole universe conspires to make it happen. But first, do you know what you want? And do you have that intensity? You have to convert your wishes to your strong wants and then do whatever is required. The universe is ready to help you. I have so many instances in my life where I have proven this right, and so many dreams have come true. I don't know how much time do I have more for this. Uh, if I have more time, then I will go further. Otherwise, I stop here and ask for your comments and questions, and then I will go further. Thank you.
Professor Chat, I think you should be rounding off already with the presentation so that we can, of course, like you just mentioned, give the opportunity to our participants to actually forward or channel their questions to you while we answer the questions and we go further with the discussion.
Okay. I'm waiting for comments and questions. Or should I round up fast?
Yes, we'll round off with the presentation, then we can give our participants opportunity.
From my life, I would like to just mention few slides I would like to show where whatever I dreamt and worked for have come true. And coming from a middle level background, I have achieved so many things. So I just want to share it so that I can develop belief in you, in participants, that yes, things do happen. Like some dreams that have come true. I wanted to be a trainer. Now I'm training industry managers. I even trained Indian and Chinese engineers together. You can see the flags also.
Yeah.
Here I am making a presentation at Moscow State University Globalistic Conference in 2015. Here I am speaking at BRICS Global University meeting. And a very proud moment for me, you can see the flags of BRICS countries over here, and an agreement is being signed between all these 5 country people, and I am signing the agreement, just like our prime ministers and ministers do. Here I am involved in the selected few at the Moscow University. I undertake training for Russian students also. Here I am with my Russian students after a class, making a presentation at UNESCO. And I was able to establish UNESCO network chair at my university, where I was director over there. And here a senior member of Moscow University, she came specially to inaugurate it. I could make a presentation to Mexican audience also. I am a regular trainer with Knowledge Academy. I was proud to achieve Professor of Excellence Award. I mean, these were all dreams. And this is the book launch. Here I am presenting the book at World Book Fair. And I am happy to say that my book has received 5-star, the highest rating from a US-based organization, Reader's Favorite, after review by international authors. I was chosen as a chief guest at my place at the Republic Day function. Here are a few mementos that are there, just part of it. But what I want to present to the audience is that these 3 lessons that I have learned and I want to share. This is most important. Number 1, keep learning, keep growing, keep going. Do not stop. Do not feel complacent. Oh, I have done enough. I have achieved enough. No, keep learning, keep growing, and keep going. Persistence is there. Second principle is, if you are good inside, character-wise, your spiritual component, and your skills, your emotions, then sooner or later, you will be great outside. And third one, dream big. Believe in your dreams. If your mind can conceive it and your heart can believe it, you are certain to achieve it. These three lessons I have learned in life, which have helped me, and I just want to share it with all the participants, that if you follow these principles, you will also be one of the better version of yourselves soon. So just to mention that this my book gives much more details about the self-management, and this is available on Amazon, and for international Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle versions. This is my promise. Once you go through the contents and activities of the book, there are 17 activities to be done by you yourself, by the reader. I promise you will not be the same person again. You will be a transformed person, changed person. So thank you very
Thank
much. Your comments are, I look forward to it on my, this is my email ID. This is my LinkedIn profile. I invite everybody to connect me with me on LinkedIn also. And if you read about my book, your comments on Amazon also. So thank you, Afro Skills, and my best wishes for your journey to becoming the best version of yourself. Thank you very much. Thank you, Clarence Madam.
Thank you so much, Professor Jagdish Khatri, for that, of course, great insight on this very important topic, transformation of life through self-exploration, through self-discovery. And just to remind our participants about the objective of this webinar, of course, to learn about major turning points around the life of Professor Jagdish Khatri, and of course, and how this has helped him in his in his quest, I beg your pardon, in life, and also to understand the role of passion, faith, and dreams in a success. So it's a call for concern to each and every one of us. How intentional are you about transforming your life? How intentional are you about taking that dream or making that dream to become a reality? Have you always castigated yourself? Have you always have this self-low esteem that when you want to take a move, you take a step back, and then that fear stops you from exploring, from knowing who really you are for the total transformation of yourself? And like the professor underlined, when you transform yourself, you are helpful, you are useful to the society and of course humanity as a whole. Thank you so much for that great insight, Professor Jagdish. I don't want to talk too much. Let me give our participants the opportunity to actually channel their worries, their questions to guest of honor, Professor Jagdish Khatri, all the way from India, a management expert, an author, and of course, a global analyst. Thank you all. The floor is open to anybody who has a question to direct to Professor Jagdish. You feel free to activate your mic and of course ask your question directly to the professor. Thank you all.
Yeah, hello.
Hello to you, Mr. Rich.
Yeah, Prof, thank you so much for the presentation. It's been very insightful. Yeah, I want to ask, so how do you manage distractions or interruptions that emanate from your quest in attaining self-esteem or self-actualization? How do you manage these distractions?
Thank you. Thank you for the question. You see, once you are moving on the path of life, you cannot avoid distraction. These are part of life. There are family responsibilities, there are social responsibilities, there are distractions around. But if you are able to concentrate yourself on your goal, on your ultimate aim, then even those distractions are there, but they will not be able to diminish your intensity for progress and success. You see, social media, we spend so much time on social media, and I don't know how much time is useful for doing that. But if we are able to control our urge uh, and spend more time on learning. You see, my first advice was keep learning, keep growing. I am 67 years old, and still I'm happy to inform that daily at least 1 to 2 hours time I am spending in learning, in reading new things. I've got a big library of books in my home, and I keep writing also so many things. So this way I am able to utilize. You see, everybody has got 24 hours only. Hmm. But how do you utilize that time defines your success. It is said that your destiny is formed by the company you keep and the books you read. So be in the company of good people, be in the company of good books, good videos, and that will help you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay. Any other question?
Professor, great presentation one more time. Always good to speak with you. One of the things that we often encounter is the intersection or the contradiction, let's say the intersection between our belief systems and publications, for self-discovery, as the book that you published. So the question would be, how can a person, reconcile, their belief system, let's say here with a Christianity or the Muslim faith, right, with what you develop in your book?
Dima Guru. Hello.
Hello,
Yeah,
Professor.
Yeah, thank you for the question. But I would like to say that the concepts that are there, you see, whatever I have discussed, it is not in conflict with any of the faith. You see, every person is a human being. And once you talk about human qualities or self components, so that applies to everybody. Like suppose in medicine that that helps you in overcoming your headache. Medicine doesn't ask which faith you are, or whether you are an American or an African or an Indian. So medicine works. And similarly, the good books, the good concepts, good principles, they are common for the whole humanity. So you have to see that you apply whatever is suitable in your given conditions, and is you are able to fulfill your dreams with that. Thank you.
Are you satisfied with the answer, Dr. A.D. Eric?
It is good for me, thanks.
Okay. Please, let's write on. Any other question directed to Professor Jagdish? Of course, we have the privilege for him to answer and, of course, to clarify us on very pertinent issues, something that sometimes we actually do not give value to. So this is the moment we have the opportunity to channel all our questions to Professor Jagdish Khatri regarding this topic of discussion, transformation of life through self-exploration.
I will request for feedback from all the participants on my email or through Clarice, madam.
Okay, that's okay, yeah, Professor. While waiting for others maybe to try to brainstorm, I would like us to answer this question together. Like, what can you tell us about the factors that helped in your growth as a person and, of course, as a professional?
Thank you. You see, I have donned several hats. If you go through my detailed I shifted on my own to academic line because you see, sometimes I thought that passion is more important, and if the passion becomes your profession also, then you are able to give your 100% to it. So that has helped me a lot. My continuous learning habit, that has helped me a lot, and ability to communicate well, that has helped me a lot. So I was a very keen reader in libraries of books, and that has helped me shape my life and my thoughts as a professional and as a person also.
Indeed. Continuing the same letter, can we actually know maybe the basic principle behind this book? There must be something that actually pushed you into realizing a book like this and accentuating on a topic that some people find it sometimes negligible. Knowing yourself, who am I? So can we try to understand the basic principles behind this?
Yeah. You see, I read a quote by Les Brown, a motivational speaker, and he's mentioned that which is the richest place on earth? And his answer was the graveyard, because the graveyard has so many people lying over there who could not deliver what they could deliver to the world. They were hesitant, they were not courageous enough to share their knowledge, their wisdom for the benefit of humanity. So it struck me a lot that if I have read so many things, if I have made so many articles, why not give it a shape of a book where it the whole it can help other people also in any country, in any continent, to become a better version of themselves. That was the idea behind writing this book.
Okay, thank you all. So just quite amazing. In the preamble or in the conceptual framework, you made mention of the aspect of globalization, underlining that it presents a vast opportunities for people to explore and to see how they can lead about change, positive change in their respective or at their respective earns. So in your own perspective or elucidating more on this, what do you think are the advantages that globalization presents? And of course, how can we use the aspect of self-exploration to make good use of these advantages for the total transformation of innate, of course, innate abilities? Because today we're talking about knowing yourself, and there are colossal opportunities out there. So how can you use the aspect of globalization to fast track this process of self-discovery and transformation?
Okay. You see, the basic concept of globalization is that the whole field is open for all, and whosoever is excellent must get a chance to showcase his talent or his product or his service anywhere in the world. So globalization meant free flow of products, free flow of talent, free flow of ideas. That was the basic aim of globalization. Now, once we have an opportunity to showcase our talent in different parts of the world, why not utilize it? And you can utilize it only when you explore yourself. Like suppose I came to know one day that I can speak, I can write well, I can deliver training sessions. So once I started doing it, as I showed in few slides also, that then slowly I got opportunities at different places on earth. And like today, I'm talking to African continent people. So this is impact of globalization only, and of course with the help of technology. Thank you.
Mhm. Thank you. One last question, Professor. I don't know if it's the last, but then, like I mentioned already in the preamble, we said that Afro Skills, it's about transforming Africa with knowledge and, of course, ensuring skills development. So now, I want to ask this question: how vital is this book of yours to transform the minds of youth from being job seekers? Because you talked about knowing yourself and seeing how you can be economically viable to an extent without necessarily seeking for a job, but then being part of those who create jobs. So how can this book help in the quest for entrepreneurship and, of course, in the development of the human capital?
You see, this book is meant for the whole humanity, written in a very simple English language, with lots of examples, quotations, and lot of activities that the reader himself or herself has to do. So this is applicable to each and every city, each and every nation, each and every individual. And once you are able to analyze yourself and make a plan, what you want to achieve, and design your own life framework, then that is going to help. You can become a better teacher, you can become a better businessman, you can become a better entrepreneur or a better human being also. And I would be too happy if I get opportunity to conduct training sessions for African people online as well as offline. Um, it would be a great pleasure for me. The book is costing so less, it is maybe less than the price of a pizza. So each and every person, you should promote it so that they get benefited out of it.
Okay. We still have about 10 minutes, Professor, to be together. So we continue with the questions and the answer session. You highlighted so many things: self-awareness, self-exploration, and self-analysis. So when you look at, I want to focus more on the young people because they are a focus or a focal point this day, because we see with everything that is happening across the continent, you see that there are young people with so much potentials, but then there is that thing that is stopping them from actually bringing forth or harnessing this potential. You talk about self-esteem. So how do people who have lost their self-esteem try to change the narratives to bring back this self-esteem that will define a great trajectory, a life's trajectory for them in every aspect?
As I said, there are four components of any individual. And if we have plans to develop all these four components, then we become a overall great personality. And for gaining higher self-esteem, we need more competence and confidence, both things. Competence through knowledge and education, training and skills, and confidence through a better mindset, through personality development and self-analysis also. So once you have a combination of both, you see what is happening is that present education system, we concentrate more on technical skills. So you can become a better engineer, but you may not be a good person inside, or you may not have that humanitarian qualities. So there has to be a balance of technical as well as social skills to be imparted to each and every student, right from schooling stage itself, so that they grow up and become responsible citizens also.
Indeed, very important, Professor Jagdish. As a global analyst, and with this quest to discover self, given that a lot of changes have occurred in the global world that have actually affected world's economy, and today we are looking at discovering ourselves and seeing how we can be useful to the society. Yeah. Now, so how can we utilize the aspect of multilateralism? We understand, right? Taking the advantages of it to continue to bring these attributes that will lead to a great nation, a great world.
You see, a nation is formed with individuals, and capabilities of individuals, they must be developed. What is happening is that we are concentrating more on military power, more on infrastructure, on financial aspects, economy, but there's lesser resources for education, for training of human resources. And this is particular with every country almost. So once we develop our people, they will make the nation great. They will bring up the level of nation, and the hierarchy of nations keeps changing. It is the technical skills that Western countries could amass with themselves that have helped them. So that can happen with any country, and with a combination of good human resource and good material resource, good infrastructure, and good leader. I mean, we need, even our leaders need to do self-analysis and become better leaders to avoid corruption. If their spiritual component is high, they will not go for corruption or evil deeds.
All right. Thank you so much, Professor, for the great insight. And of course, I want to thank our participants for being there, hoping that we all learned a lot on this very important topic, transformation of self through of life through self-exploration, presentation made by Professor Katria Jagdish from India, Management Board, global analyst, and of course an author. I want to thank you, Professor. Just to remind us all before we leave, you just underlined that you are open and very available to share your expertise, of course, in transforming the world, and particularly being of help to transforming the African people, especially the African young people, taking this opportunity now to tell you about the upcoming event that AfroSkills is organizing. That is on the 29th of March this year. It is termed the Rabawa, which is translated as sharing. It is an online incubator, like I underlined earlier on. Afro Skills is also there to promote entrepreneurship. And how can we promote entrepreneurship? We need to galvanize these young talents across the continent Africa, try to build and of course give them the necessary coaching that they need to be able to bring to reality these dreams. You said when you have an idea, it remains an idea until it materializes into something feasible, which is also very useful to society. So we are actually inviting you to be part of the incubator. And of course, I will share the detailed information with you regarding the program, and we'll be glad to have you address the event. One last word before we go, Professor.
Yeah, I hope I will be happy if my book is able to help every individual there in transforming self, and that will be the reward of my book. And I have great hopes for Africa, and I'm sure Africa and Asia, they should lead the global South and mark their rightful place in the Committee of Nations. And for that, whatever little expertise I have, it's there to offer. I'm open to any sort of contributions that I can make. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm privileged.
Thank you. We should be thanking you for your time, Professor Jagdeja, sharing knowledge on this platform. Distinguished speakers series under the auspices of Afro Skills, Transforming Africa with Knowledge is about advancing knowledge and skills strategy. Thank you so much to our participants for taking this rendezvous with us, and thank you, and hope you do not go back the same, because I am not going back the same. I've actually learned a lot from this great presentation, Professor. Thank you, and bye-bye to everyone.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.